Please don't forget subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to get notified of new daily videos.
My partner, Adrian, always had a soft spot for places off the grid. So when he found a ridiculously cheap cabin tucked away in the foothills of the Blackwood Peaks, miles from the nearest town, I wasn't entirely surprised. It was rustic, charming, and exactly what we needed for a month-long sabbatical. Or so I thought. The first week was idyllic. We hiked, read, and spent evenings by a crackling fire. The only sign of civilization within eyeshot was a rusted, imposing structure visible through the trees, about a mile or so up a winding dirt track. Adrian, ever the curious one, had looked it up. Old Cold War listening post, he'd said, scrolling on his tablet. Abandoned since the late 80s. Classified stuff, apparently. Nothing to see but crumbling concrete. Then the hum started. It was faint at first, a barely perceptible tremor in the air, deep and resonant. I only noticed it when the wind died down, a low thrum that seemed to vibrate in my teeth. Adrian heard it too. "Think it's the old generator up there," he'd mused one evening, pointing towards the station. "Sounds like it's barely holding on." But it wasn't a generator. It was too consistent, too alive. And it started affecting Adrian first. He became distant, his eyes often fixed on the distant outline of the station. He'd wake up in the middle of the night, claiming he needed to check on something at the station. I'd find him on the porch, staring, listening. When I asked him what he heard, he'd only shrug, a vague smile playing on his lips. "Just a frequency, Marisol. Fascinating." My unease grew. I tried talking to Mr. Benton, the grizzled old man who ran the only general store 10 miles away. He just grunted, polishing a jar of pickled eggs. "Heard that hum a lot over the years. Folks get restless round here when it starts. Best to keep your distance from the old station, missy. Some things are best left undisturbed." His words only solidified my fear. The hum intensified. I could feel it now, a pressure behind my eyes, a low bass note reverberating through the cabin floor. Adrian grew gaunt, his skin pale, his focus singular. He stopped eating, barely slept. He spent hours mapping the old facility online, muttering about resonant frequencies and harmonic convergence. I felt like I was losing him, watching him slip away to some invisible current. One morning, I found him dressed, ready to go. He had a backpack, a crowbar, and a strange, almost ecstatic look on his face. "It's calling, Marisol," he said, his voice flat, devoid of his usual warmth. "It's finally ready. I have to go to the heart of it." I pleaded with him. I blocked the door. I even tried to physically restrain him, but he simply pushed past me with an unnatural strength I didn't recognize. "Don't you hear it?" he whispered, almost angrily. "The song, it's beautiful." I heard only a maddening, incessant drone, a thrumming that felt like it was tearing me apart from the inside. But I had to stop him. I grabbed the old hunting rifle Adrian kept for coyotes and followed him, the heavy metal cold in my sweating hands. The dirt track led us directly to a dilapidated chain-link fence, twisted and broken, but still bearing faded, restricted area signs. Adrian didn't hesitate, slipping through a gap. I scrambled after him, my heart hammering against my ribs. The station itself was massive, a brutalist concrete complex half swallowed by rust and overgrowth. The hum was deafening here, vibrating through the ground, through my very bones. It felt like the air itself was screaming silently. Adrian walked with purpose, not even glancing back. He found a partially open service hatch on the main building, forced it with the crowbar, and disappeared into the darkness. "Adrian," I screamed, my voice swallowed by the hum. I knew I couldn't go in there, but I couldn't let him go. I pushed through the hatch, flashlight beam trembling. The interior was a maze of echoing corridors, rusted machinery, and dangling wires. The hum was almost unbearable, making my teeth ache, making me feel like my brain was rattling loose inside my skull. It felt like it was pulling me deeper, urging me forward. I fought it, pressing my hands against my ears, the rifle forgotten. I followed the sound and the faint glow of Adrian's flashlight to a massive central chamber. It was vast, circular, dominated by a colossal, intricate device at its center. It looked like a gigantic, ornate tuning fork made of black, non-reflective metal, pulsating with a low, reddish light. This was the source of the hum. Adrian was there, standing before it, arms outstretched. He was staring at the pulsing metal, a look of serene ecstasy on his face. As I watched, horrified, tendrils of the reddish light began to emanate from the device, wrapping around him. They weren't just light, they were physical, shimmering energy strands, thin as hair but strong as steel. They began to pull him closer. His clothes started to fray, disintegrate. His skin shimmered, stretched, distorted. He didn't scream. He didn't fight. He just smiled, a terrible, vacant smile as his form blurred, his edges dissolving into the pulsating light. I stumbled back, gagging, unable to comprehend what I was seeing. The hum intensified, reaching a crescendo that threatened to shatter my eardrums. I could feel it trying to draw me in, a powerful magnetic pull. My mind screamed at me to run. I turned and fled, scrambling back through the dark corridors. The image of Adrian's dissolving form seared into my brain. The hum pursued me, echoing in my head even when I burst out into the relative silence of the forest. I ran until my lungs burned, until I collapsed miles away, shaking uncontrollably, the hum still a phantom ache in my bones. I never saw Adrian again. The local authorities found the cabin deserted, the old station a crumbling relic. They dismissed my frantic, incoherent story as grief-fueled delusion. How could I explain what I saw? How could I explain the hum that still occasionally vibrates in the stillness of the night, a silent promise? I escaped, but I don't think it's over. Sometimes I still feel the hum deep in my chest, calling to me.
If you enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up button to like it. And please do subscribe to support the channel.